DVD, Blu-ray, VHS and CD update part 2 and Network of Crap part 1. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So, we are back with part 2. Part 2 is continuing with the DVDs and Blu-rays. Only difference is this time it's based on a specific company, and that is a network. I don't know if you guys know, but a couple of months ago, Network fell into liquidation, so as a result, they're no more. So we're just selling off all their stock. Yeah, but I didn't own that many Network titles prior, really because of the price and not all the titles appeal to me, but I picked up a fair few of the ones I could get. These are mostly Blu-rays, but I've got a few DVDs, and these are mostly films. So we'll start off with the Blu-rays, and I ended up picking up the 4 Hitchcock films I needed from Network. First one is the original, The Man Who Knew Too Much. I've seen the remake with Jimmy Stewart and Doris Day, which is in the Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection. Because Hitchcock remade this film in the 50s. This is a really, really good film. I don't know which version I prefer. I really like both versions. I probably would say the remake is just that little bit better, but this is still really good. It's really hard to pick. But yeah, one of his first sort of proper big films, one of the first ones that cemented him as a director, and then obviously he went on to do stuff like the 39 Steps, which have the ITV Blu-ray, the 39 Steps, which has a really rough transfer. I wish Network had released that as well, but they didn't. They released it on DVD in a long out of print box set called like the British Hitchcock Collection, but they've not released it on Blu-ray, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, this is still very good. Here's the disc, and behind there we've got an advert for the British film catalogue and just one of the posters. Yeah, that's very good. Peter Lorre's first English language film, I believe. Next one is Sabotage, slightly less well known one, but very, very good film this as well. Yeah, but a bit more sort of domesticated, but it's still fantastic. Here's the disc, it's got the same thing on the back. This film was also known as The Woman Alone in some places. Based on a book called The Secret Agent. Hitchcock made a film called The Secret Agent around the same time, which is a completely different film. So when he adapted this, he called it Sabotage. Yeah, that's very good. Young and Innocent, another pretty good one. Probably my least favourite from the ones from the Hitchcock films I got from Network, but it's still a very good film. This includes the early years, which is on the 39 Steps Blu-ray, weirdly, as an extra. So I don't know why the extras are repeated. Yeah, there's the disc. Also known as The Girl Was Young in some territories as well, I guess. And the final Hitchcock is The Lady Vanishes, which is an absolute classic. I absolutely love The Lady Vanishes. I saw the remake of this from Hammer Films before I saw this, and obviously the original is much better in almost every single way, but I must say the remake is not as bad as people make it out to be. I actually quite enjoy the remake. for what it was. But yeah, this is a really good film. All set on a train, and really good mystery story. But yeah, here's the disc, and we get an alternate poster, which is really nice. And then we move on to the last two Blu-rays, which aren't Alfred Hitchcock's. First one is the Ipcress File with Michael Caine. A lot of people don't know that. I should really stop doing the Michael Caine impression. It's a sort of film that was made sort of during the height of the Bond mania, and it kind of feels a bit more like a sort of film that came out of the James Bond mould. It's a serious, one of the few sort of serious spy thrillers from that era. And in fact, you do get a lot of James Bond sort of connections, like Harry Saltzman is the producer who Harry Saltzman produced the first 9 Bond films with Albert Broccoli. The music was done by John Barry. Ken Adam did the set design as well. It's a decent film. Michael Caine plays a very different character to James Bond. He's a bit sort of dorky, a bit more of a dorky sort of character to 007. He's definitely what you call the working class Bond. The film, there were 4 sequels to this, featuring the Harry Palmer character. 3 of the Harry Palmer films were made in the 60s, and the last 2 were made in the 90s, and they all star Michael Caine. I've not seen those yet. I would definitely say with the film, definitely the script is the film's weakest element. It's a bit quite convoluted, the plot, and it's definitely has its dull moments. But I would say everything else surrounding the script is amazing. The performances are great. The set designs are very good as well. I'm a lot more set back when compared to the James Bond sets that were designed by Ken Adam. And it definitely has a lot of great moments. There's a bit in the supermarket that definitely comes to mind, but unfortunately, kind of, it's not that memorable. I probably won't check out the rest of the Harry Palmer films, but I'm glad I watched this. Oh, and I forgot. Is the disc. We've got some alternative posters. And here's that, by the way. And we got a load of bonus features. This was previously released on DVD on Blu-ray by ITV. I believe the transfer is identical between the ITV release and this release. So really, it's only the extras that prop this release up. But anyway, here we have a booklet of program notes. Really nice stuff. Network kind of knew what they were doing. It's a shame they're no longer around. And the final Network Blu-ray is Defense of the Realm with Gabriel Byrne. Fantastic film, this. A friend of mine sold it to me. A political thriller from the 80s, based in the newspaper world. It's really good. I guess probably the closest parallel, even though I've never seen it, is All the President's Men. Although the only difference is All the President's Men was based on a true story, whereas this is entirely fictional. Yeah, it's a very good film, and a very good Blu-ray as well. I believe the DVD of this was pretty appalling, put out by Carlton. It was transferred as cropped. The picture and the picture and sound quality were god awful. The transfer on this is really good. I believe Network did release this on DVD back in 2008 or something, but I don't know what the transfer is like. But yeah, if you can get this for a reasonable price, I definitely would recommend it. And here's the inside, and here's the disc. We have a few posters. And then we have a little booklet of viewing notes. But yeah, that's very good, and very good film as well. Now we move on to DVDs, and the only film DVD I've got is This Sporting Life. Oddly fitting that I showed Never Apologise in part 1, since that was about Lindsay Anderson, and this was also directed by Lindsay Anderson. It was his first film, and it's a very, very good film. It's sort of a kitchen sink drama, which probably might put some people off. It's a bit of a slow burn, but I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Richard Harris plays a really great character. He's one of those characters where he actually degrades over time, because he starts out as a bit of an arsehole and then he just gets worse and worse as the film progresses. It's basically a metaphor for toxic masculinity, more or less. It's a very good film, and actually a really good DVD from Network. The transfer is surprisingly really good. They did release this on Blu-ray prior, but the Blu-ray is long out of print and goes for quite a bit of money. I got this for actually dirt cheap. It was only about a £5. But the extras are the same, and the transfer is actually really good, for DVD. That's even kind of beats most DVDs I've got. But yeah, it's a very good film. Here's the disc. So there we just have a bit of a cast list. It's one of my favourite Lindsay Anderson films. It's not my favourite one. My favourite one is still Oh Lucky Man. But this one's absolutely fantastic. And I need to watch If again at some point. But yeah, we get the production notes. That's a really nice addition. Then the penultimate DVD is Charlie says, always tell your mummy where you're going so she knows who you are with. Oh, that was a terrible impression. You can hear my voice cracking. This is Charlie Says and other classic public information films. A very, very niche DVD. It's very rare you'd see somebody buy a DVD of public information films, but this is absolutely fantastic. It's a compilation DVD of hundreds of public information films from the 1940s to the 1980s, although there is one from the 1990s as well. But yeah, if you can get this for a decent price, I'd highly recommend it if you're into public information films. There's a lot of really weird ones, weird and wonderful ones, and a lot of fairly famous ones. Do you want me to take it up the shitter? Because it's a £5 extra, says the whore. Oh yes, please, says Tufty. Sorry, couldn't help it. But yeah, this is the reissue version. This was released prior with a different cover. Although, despite it being a much later release from 2018, if it ever focuses. Yeah, 2018. The discs in here are actually quite old. I believe Charlie Says the volume 1 was the first release from Network on way back on VHS, so that's quite an interesting fact. Here's the inside. There's disc 1, and man, we just got a list of all the public information films included. There's volume 2. Volume 2 is not as good as volume 1. It definitely feels like just the leftovers. A lot of the ones on volume 2 are a bit dry and a bit repetitive, but there's still a lot of really interesting ones on here. Also, something extremely alarming is, despite this being a later reissue, they've not altered it in any way. So that means we get 3 public information films featuring Jimmy Savile and 1 featuring Rolf Harris, which, yeah, it's a bit bizarre, I guess it's probably for historical reasons they're still on here. But yeah, they're a bit iffy to watch. And also, something I find extremely fascinating is on volume 1, you've got a few of the Protect and Survive films. which were never broadcast because thankfully nothing ever came of the Cold War. It's got two of them. The one about attack sirens and another one about how to dispose of corpses. All the Protect and Survive films are on the When the Wind Blows Blu-ray, and I think you can get those on their own as well. Yeah, Protect and Survive films. Basically, put your legs. Basically, if we get nuked, put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye, unless you're right next to a fridge. Sorry. But yeah, this one's really good. Also, it's something kind of unique about networking. No other big company would release a set of public information films except the BFI. The BFI's done a lot of sets of PIFs. I know one of them was the best of the Central Office of Information, which is a set I'll be getting at some point. One of the films in that set is Apaches, which, I mean, you can't really go wrong with a film featuring a kid drowning in cow shit and another kid getting scared to death by a poster-lord cat. Yeah, you'll be seeing that at some point. But yeah, this is a really nice set. And then the final one and the final DVD is the complete series of The Goodies. It was really Stu Bagfull who sold me on the series, and when he did his top 10 episodes. I mean, I'd heard of the series prior, but I was never that interested until I saw that video. And so I can't wait to delve into this. The team in this, late Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden and Bill Oddie, they sort of started around the same time as Monty Python. And I believe Tim Brooke Taylor did a lot of stuff with the Monty Python crew before Monty Python. So it kind of, from what I understand, it feels very much like Monty Python, but a bit more digestible because of the format. Because Monty Python was a sketch show, whereas this was more of a conventional sitcom. But yeah, this is a really nice set. This includes all 9 series. The first 8 series were on the BBC, and the last series was on ITV. This includes both. It's a bit of a rip-off, this, because I think I paid about £65 for this, and it was actually cheaper just to get the BBC set and the ITV set separately, because I was kind of under the impression that this had some kind of bonus disc with it, but it doesn't, so that's a bit pissy, which is one thing I don't like about Network is, especially with their TV show sets, they always seem to overcharge what they were, which is probably why I don't have that many of their sets. And they still command a pretty high price at the moment, even though they're still well stocked at the moment, many of their titles. But yeah, I don't really like the packaging because some of the discs are stacked. I don't like this packaging design. But what are you going to do? Here are the discs. Behind there I've just got the episode list, but I can't be bothered taking the discs out. And yes, some of the discs were loose when I got this, which is a real piss take if you ask me. That's one thing I really dislike about these cases, like the discs are always bloody loose when they're new. But yeah, I can't wait to check this out. So yeah, that's everything. That's all the DVDs and Blu-rays. Check for part 3 where I'll be showing you the VHS tapes. So long for now.